Authenticity, guys. The digital isn't just noise. It's a mirror, and it's showing us who we are together. And I know as a leader, I'm going to say something that may piss some of you off, but it's fine because I've experienced it myself as a leader. And that is to hide behind screens. We can get so busy with Slack. Now we've got AI, and then coming up next is AI agents. We can get so caught up in the management of all the apps that we have. It used to be email. Now there's 100 other things that we're doing. Notion and the list goes on and on. But what people need is for us to lead with our heart, not just constantly hustling and managing, but for us to be real. And there's a tendency with leaders where we want to be perfect. And we can hide behind the screens and act like we're perfect. We can have AI redo our filters for how we look. We can have AI change our emails to sound more professional. All of those things, it's not authenticity. And that's what makes people stick in work. We've all been there. We've all done the Zoom call where we've kind of screwed something up or we maybe laughed unexpectedly. And what happens? Everybody leans in, don't they? Because the digital world's a lie detector. And it's brutal. Leaders who show up for real, MIT Sloan Management Review said this, are the ones that have the highest job satisfaction and that stay the longest. Because I'm telling you, your team can see right through it. They need somebody that's real. Every relationship, if you look at leadership as a relationship, every leadership needs authenticity, doesn't it? So how do we do that? First, I think we need to start small. We got to skip the scripts, skip the AI giving us all this. And here's my bullet point for this. And we need to share how we're really feeling, even if it's messy. I did this last week on a call. I was like, hey, guys, I need your help. I'm trying to figure something out. Guess what happened? Everyone, they got off their screens, they looked up, and they listened to me. They need your actual voice, not your public relation polished, what that is as a leader. But let me explain it this way. Especially if you have a team that you don't see all the time, or maybe they're virtual, the only way that you can trust build is through you being authentic. Because a virtual stage doesn't work unless you are willing to step out on it truly as you. And that's so important in understanding virtual teams. And I know they are what we do now, and I know it's a whole new thing. Some companies are going back to coming into the office, but we've tried shortcuts before, and it doesn't work. Teams crave more. They need integrity. They need trust. And how do you build that digitally? And I'm not saying I have all virtual teams. I'm not, but you have to be specific in how you're going to do that. Let me ask you, how do you show your integrity to your team? Tell me. How does your team know that they can trust you as a leader? Explain that to me. And if you can't explain that in detail, then that's something that you need to work on. And that's what creates authenticity. Next meeting, I want you to open up and be like, hey, I want to keep this moving forward, but in the meantime, I want us to take 10 minutes and have a real talk. No agenda, just us. And I want us to share a win and a worry. Each of us. What are we worried about with our job? And it could be anything. Maybe you're worried about me not liking you. I don't know what it is. We're going to be really open. And then I want us to share a win, something that you've had a win in your life. And you're going to have people. I've done this. They're going to be like, oh, I kind of feel like stretched thin with this and this. And I've had to take on this other responsibility. And you know what happens in that moment? You're creating trust. And you can be upfront about it. It's like data. Taking that information, and it's gold, because the information they're going to tell you, if you track that and write that down and then you follow up with them, guess what's going to happen? They're going to begin to trust you like you couldn't even imagine, because they're going to know that you cared. You're like, hey, last Tuesday in the meeting you said this, and we all have AI that can record everything. I think another thing with authenticity, and I talk about this all the time, is adaptation. And I know it's a beast. I know it's evolution. I know it's testing us. But we have to evolve. And the only way we can evolve and adapt really fast is to have that trust there. We can't chase trends. We have to have the anchor of trust. If we're just letting the wind take us wherever, and I see this all the time with leaders, they'll go here and they go here, this new conference they went to, and now they want to do this. And their team's just strung all around. They have no idea what to do. And so when you have trust and integrity, it allows them to have something that's more than an anchor. It's the core of who they are. And do you know that? Do you know the core of what your team is? And what I mean when I say core is, like, I want to make sure I explain it to you right. The core of your team is taking each, maybe you have 2 people in your team, maybe you have 20 people in your team. Taking each of them, knowing their personalities, knowing who they are, knowing what frustrates them, knowing what makes them excited, taking all of those things, and you can use AI to help you with all this. You can have them take those free tests online that lets them know about their personality, but it's what makes them. Find that with each and every one, and then put that together in a doc, and you can share it with AI. And this is the core of my team. This is who we are. This is our strengths. Together as a team, these are our weaknesses. Together as a team. If you know that, that's gold. Because now you know how to communicate. Now you know how to build trust. And in building trust and in communicating, that's where the integrity is going to come. That's where the roots are going to go deeper in the ground. And with virtual teams especially, you have no roots, do you? They'll just ghost you and move on to the next company. It's crazy how that's working. Because humans, right now, they're the hottest currency, aren't they? And humanity, with this technology that's coming on the scene right now, yes, technology can seem cold, but the way that AI can do things, the way that, and I've talked about this with marketing and stuff, the ultimate personalization, being like, Jason, here's, the phone's going to get that way, guys. I know Apple Intelligence doesn't seem like much now, but it's in its infancy. It's a baby. And the only way that you as a leader are going to be able to go through all of that is to have authenticity. Because I'm going to tell you right now with your team, authenticity fuels satisfaction. Our team doesn't need more bandwidth, more things to look at, more apps to use. They need us as a leader. They need us real and alive and trustworthy. And I know one thing I said once, and my team really appreciated is, I was like, hey, this is tough. And I know it is. And this is where we're at. But I don't know of any way around it. But I was like, we're in this situation and I know it's tough. So what do each of you need so that we can all together work through this? What did they say? They're like, thank you. We appreciate that. And I had, after the call, one of them slacked me. There's a tool. And they said, thank you. It felt like my voice mattered. And I said, it does. I learn a lot from you. And we can learn a lot from our team. And it sparks the flame, doesn't it? I think one of the things when it comes to waking up, especially when the digital age is so loud, and it's always constantly calling us and beckoning us back to get, as a leader, to get behind our screens, is looking at your heart. Is your heart in it? Is it in you being a leader? Do you really feel it? Do you care for your people? Do you love your people? Do you want to establish trust with them? Do you realize that every single person, this is self-aware leader, every single person has a soul. They're spiritual. They're not just something for you to command to get your way or to get things done. They're a human being, a spiritual human being. And they need you as a spiritual human being to lead them. So I want you to wake up with me. I want you to lead, but lead with authenticity. And I want you to know that you're enough, that we all are. No matter what our problems are, as long as we don't dump on them. You don't want to do that where you sit there and make it all about you and you go, I'm going to be real, I'm going to be genuine, I'm going to be authentic. Just walk around and tell people your problems all the time. No one needs to hear that. You need to listen. 80% of your time is listening. 20% of your time is asking questions and coaching. That's all of leadership right there. If you would do those 2 things, I guarantee you it will dramatically change your leadership. You'll have trust, you'll have integrity, and your team, and those that you lead will know that you're authentic.